Hello everyone, welcome to episode 2 and Beast Morphers' first true test. It's easy to have a good start for a series, but really getting going and continuing that's where difficulty really lies. Episode 1 introduced us to our heroes, and now it's up to episode 2 to showcase our villains, and what the status quo is going to be for this season. Now, we jump back just before the end of the previous episode, seeing exactly what happened to our villainous avatars, where they're trapped, and exactly how they're going to be posing troubles to our heroes. It's a little surprising that the teleportation device sends them exactly where the main villain of the series is. I mean, I would expect them to be sent somewhere else, another place on Earth, but just immediately getting zapped into this digital realm is kind of weird. I get that you have to have them meet up with our villains, but of all the places to be sent, exactly where they would want to be, it's kind of strange. Now we meet Scrozzle, the villainous scientist for this season, as well as the robotic henchman, which actually have a pretty good and interesting design. Something I'd be looking forward to seeing more in the combat. He does swear loyalty to Evox a little bit quicker than I would want, but what are you going to do? They've got to move this along. Things are actually rushing along at a pretty brisk clip. We find out what they're going to be doing with the Morphex, how important it is, how it fuels things, and how they're going to be trying to get it. But it seems a bit rushed, and I'd like to have more information about what exactly they're doing with it. I mean, how is morphing energy even physical form anyway? It's kind of just weird. Weird and fast seems to be kind of the order of the day for this episode. We're rushing along with the villains, getting them all introduced, getting them pledging allegiance, and getting them sent out on their missions, as well as getting us introduced into our team and the arguing over who's in charge. We've got the introduction of our robot animal sidekicks, something that I was actually surprised that they kept from the Sentai. Hopefully they'll be doing a lot more with it, because these more goofy elements from the Sentai series are something that they tended to kind of push to the wayside, and I'm hoping to see more brought to the forefront, because that's kind of the fun of Super Sentai, and how it lasted as long as it did. It had things for the children, the goofy, silly nonsense, but more adult storytelling for the people who had stuck around for it throughout all of these years. Now, they did a good job with some fun character rivalry as they're trying to decide just who's going to be in charge of this little group. I really hope that even though we now have the official team leader, they still do a lot of jumping around and working with each other. Something like what we had with Time Force, where we had the leader character. We also had someone who was more knowledgeable and experienced in this, as our Blue Ranger is, would be a lot more entertaining. Not saying that I want them to change who's in charge. It's more that we've got people with more experience in different areas, and I like to see them sort of pushed to the forefront. We've got 3 Rangers for the moment, so let's work with those 3. Let's work with how the personalities and how the different leadership styles would come into play. Now, as I was saying, a lot of the humor elements from the Sentai series is being brought into this. Now, one of the things which maybe they may have wanted to sort of push to the wayside, but unfortunately were unable to because of how integral they were into the plots of the original Go Busters series, are the weaknesses of the characters. Now, Go Busters was a series based around the internet, in a similar way that Mega Ranger was before it. And because of that, a lot of the Sentai characters had different weaknesses based around the internet. You had characters that would slow down like a modem, or freeze like an internet page, or just other nonsense. Now, for the change, since these are about animals, they try to tie these weaknesses into weaknesses of the animals. So we have a Red Ranger who freezes since he has cat DNA when he sees dogs. We have a Ranger infused with gorilla DNA who overheats and gets into a primal rage. And we have our Yellow Ranger who has a lack of energy and needs carrots, unfortunately. I'm really hoping that these are things which are part of the episodes, but don't completely overwhelm them, because I could see that getting annoying really quickly. Only one unmorphed fight scene this time. It was still pretty good, though I hope we get a lot more of them, since those were some of the most entertaining parts of the first episode. We've got some good rivalries coming in, and we've also got some really unique and interesting Megazord fights. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more of those, and it's surprising that they didn't actually rush to show the full Megazord this time. Another surprising thing is that they've got a focus on the comic relief characters, and looks like they're going to be right there involved with the action at a lot more than any of the other comic relief characters have been throughout Power Rangers. I compare them to Boomy from SPD, though with a bit more of a focus, and I'd say a little more of a comedic bent than he did. All in all, solid second episode. Not perfect, slight downgrade, but after an amazing opening, it's kind of hard to keep that going. Now, I'm most certainly still looking forward to the next episode, and I'm most certainly hoping you're looking forward to the next review. Now, hit that like button, subscribe, and ding that notification bell to be updated on my next reviews and when my next other videos are going to be going live. Until then, this is Kecker's Boy wishing you a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.